So welcome, Simon. Hey, I'm very excited to have you with us here. And we are again live on the Mediumship Development Support Group. Very excited to hear about your journey because I hear a lot about your healings. I haven't had the pleasure of that, and that's just one part of you. You are a medium, and you are someone that has wrote a book as well. So you
Yeah.
have so much amazing knowledge that you've brought into this type of place where we believe in the experiences, right, that we have. And so what was your path first? Were you a medium first? Were you a healer first? Where did your path start?
Well, I had an experience in 2001, where I attended a psychic development group at a spiritual church. And so this is the first time I'd done anything like this. There's a series of events that led to that. But when I joined the meditation for the first time, I became very agitated and had a lot of pressure on my body. Closed my eyes. And as soon as my eyes were closed, I couldn't open my eyes again, couldn't move my hands, couldn't kind of move. I felt really kind of hot. And then almost immediately I had an out-of-body experience, or that's what it felt like to me, where there's an audible sound, and I was standing in front of myself, looking at my seated body, and then looking down the body that's standing up, and recording both of them. And then there's a light that was off to my side, and I moved towards the light, and then I met my guide, Geju, a Buddhist monk. He was standing there. It was pretty full on. I knew who he was immediately. As soon as I saw him, it just switched on. I just knew who he was. I knew what his name was. I was really emotional. And then, of course, when we came back out of the meditation, it was all in reverse. And I was crying. I was emotional. I was kind of shaken up. From that point on, I just kept on continuing to meditate. And initially, what happened was everything was like blockbuster movies. I could see historical figures really clearly. And so, ancient cultures and all cultures from different timelines. And I was, sitting down having conversations with, like warriors, farmers, everyday people, but healers as well. And then I had the kind of the biblical thing happen where, Jesus and his family turned up. And it was just was on straight away. Then the first time I met him in a meditation, because it's really physical for me, I see really clearly. So it's like I'm watching it, but I'm also participating in it, so I can smell things and feel stuff in my body. And he just walked up to me and said, "Hello, Judas," and it just all made sense. The light came on, and I was a plumber. I was a plumber then, and kept on doing that. And then I had an opportunity to do a healing a few months later. My hands just heated up straight away. Put my hands on this man's shoulder, and he just fell asleep and kind of fell back against me. And I continued to do, the odd healing, from that, and would become a trance medium, and record myself speaking, which is how the book came to be. So
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty full on.
So from the beginning, and I find this so interesting because I too had the experiences of trance, and I didn't know what it was. All I knew in the beginning, I would get sick, Simon. I'd feel really sick. It was like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this, like you're trying to figure out, obviously, the physical balance with the spiritual balance, right? And allow it to kind of develop. So I give you credit because some people are like, well, I don't want to have anything to do with trance, or that altered state that I'm going into, allowing that surrender, allowing, right, that guide or that beautiful experience to happen. And I think it just uplifts the whole room that you're in. That's why they say, right, use the cabinet, because it raises the frequency. I think it's so beautiful. People misinterpret it.
Yeah, look, it kind of happened automatically for me too. It just seemed really easy. My mum is a medium and a psychic, but not for clients. I don't remember her, ever having clients. But as a teenager, my parents had separated, so some of her girlfriends would come around, and they used to drink a cask of wine and get smashed and have a party, and then they'd end up doing seances, right? And I'd participate and see that. Well, my mum was definitely a trance medium. She would like start writing stuff down, and it was a different style of writing every time she did it, and it was just pages of information, like, you know, and so it's really curious. But I don't remember having experience with spirit like my whole life. I only just remember I used to hear my name called as a teenager, and in my 20s, I used to hear my name called constantly. And I would look around and nobody was there. I would know who was knocking at the door. The phone would ring and I'd sense who was on the phone. So, you know, there was nothing that really happened prior to that other than, you know, I was aware of spirit because my mum used to talk about it. But my uncle, you know, that's my mum's brother. He's a really good trance medium too. In fact, he's an unconscious trance medium, and he has no idea. Like he sits down and would just go in a trance. So he's now in spirit. He died last Christmas, but you know, so I had the opportunity to do that. Like after the first couple of meditations, I saw him in trance, and then I thought, well, you know, I just said, can I have a go? You know, and then the lady said, well, why not? You know, we'll just see what happens. So I just closed my eyes and bang, I'm hooked up, and I'm starting to talk. But I get the opening sentence and the way in. Like I know who's coming. So I see the person coming. Like I close my eyes, I see the spirit coming, and then they reposition, and I know what they're going to say. And I hear the first sentence, and once I say it, I'm gone. And then on the way out, I hear the last sentence, but I can't remember what I did in the middle. So I just started recording the stuff. But like I don't do trance work anymore. Well, one, I don't need to. You know, like, you know, spirits is where you don't actually need to do this anymore. And the other thing was there was a lot of, you know, criticism and kind of judgment. There's a lot of stuff that I went through, even though I was really good at it. But yeah, look, it's, you certainly got to be fearless, and it's just got to, you know, you just got to let, you know, just have trust and let go. And I think it's rare, you know, for people to probably do it well. I think there's a difference between someone who's an authentic trance medium and somebody who's probably just getting kind of inspirational messages and they feel like they're, you know, kind of in an altered state, you know. I think that's a big difference, you know.
Absolutely. And why would you say, or in your experience, did you ever experience the shivering of the body in the very beginning when spirit was coming in? What was the experience of your physical body when you were experiencing that?
Well, I mean, the first time in the meditation, when that was the most uncomfortable time. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't shivering. I was just really agitated and hot and wanted to take my shirt off and kind of didn't know what to do with my hands. Like I just felt really agitated. Probably almost nauseous as well. But then for trance for me is not, I don't shiver. I don't know. I just can feel myself transforming. I can feel my body changing. So even now when I do healings, if I have a woman healer that's working with me, I feel my gender change. Like I can feel breasts and I can feel my hips change and my whole body will change. And in the early days of doing healings, that would be constant. So I'd constantly having spirit overlay in me, and then, you know, I'm somebody else. I feel taller and bigger, and then, but I don't think I ever got the shivering stuff. Breathless maybe, and really, and kind of like really, like heightened senses, like, you know, sense of smell and experiencing the experience from like 3 different vantage points, basically. So like it was like I'm outside my body watching what's happening. I'm looking through the eyes of the person who's speaking and seeing them telling the story, but I'm also in the scene at the same. So what they're describing, I'm actually participating in that as well. So it was all kind of moving very quickly, but made sense when it happened. It was, yeah, it's a strange sensation. A lot of people have told me that they see, when I do it, they see spirit overlaid over top of me. I totally transform. So depending what angle they are in the room, they will tell me that I look like somebody else. It was very common. But like I said, I don't do it anymore. I can still probably sit and just let that fall out of me, which is interesting. But like, yeah, it's a strange sensation.
It is. It really is. It's like a heaviness. It's like literally, you know, you have to just trust the process and go with it. But the physical body's saying, whoa, what is this? What's happening? So I know that you're doing healings. I know that you'll be in St. Louis, right? In a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And that is completely booked. I'm so excited for you. But what do your healing sessions entail?
So, it's funny thing is, most people they still come for readings. People will come for readings, but I just elected to do it on a massage table. So I just, unless they want to sit opposite me, I'll ask them to lay down. Right. So when I started, doing this as a career, I just wanted to do healings, but we weren't getting enough clients coming. So, and once people found out I was a medium, like everybody was coming. So, but I just chose to do it on the table because it gives me access to their body, and I can see inside someone's body. I can see, organs and tubes and fluid, and I don't know what I'm looking at because I'm not a doctor, obviously. I have no medical training, but I see very clear images a lot of the time, and I just would ask for that so I could see that. So once someone's come for a reading, then I'll say, oh, you've got a sore knee. I said, yeah, I hurt my knee, last year or whatever. And I said, oh, you had this, women's health stuff, so you might say, I got endometriosis. And I said, oh, I do have endometriosis. And then now people are coming for readings and they're getting a healing response. So I'm doing a reading, but the healing's happening. So it's very relaxed now. It's very in flow now. People just hop on the table unless it's for a specific thing. Sometimes I'll be quiet and I'll just concentrate and I'll just place my hands on the shoulders or wherever I need to be. But normally I'm chatting. Normally I'm doing a reading and picking up, names in spirit and information in spirit. And the other thing I do is I have this telepathic thing where I hear my clients talking to me, right? And it's normally trauma or what they're thinking. Some people tell me that they think they're reading their mind because what they've just thought I will say. But I'm not intentionally reading someone's mind. I'm hearing this voice, this message coming from them saying they were in pain, save me, I experienced this, I experienced that, I can't fall in love because of these reasons. So my sessions are really like personal and intimate. Are probably a lot more personal and intimate than other people I've seen. But even in a public situation, we're doing 3 events in St. Louis. So even at like a public reading, a live reading event, when I'm working with an audience, I will often say to somebody, oh, you've got a sore shoulder, or who's the person with the sore shoulder and the health condition, and I say very personal things because I got that inner voice coming back to me all the time. Like I'm agitated. I say, oh, you just told me you're agitated. I see you at 4 years old. This is what happened. You experienced trauma. And most people start crying. You trigger it and they start crying.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting work. There's a lot of psychology in it, and I have psychologists in spirit that work with me. I have doctors and surgeons. I have people of faith and healers, and it's just unlimited. Like don't put a cap on it. It's just unlimited who will come.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. The next time you come to St. Louis, I'll come out to see you. I'm only 4.5 hours from there.
I'd love that.
So I will come back out. But I was very excited to interview you because first of all, I have a lot of students in Australia. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, yay, someone from Australia coming here, because I always want to go there, and such a trip, such a journey. So I welcome you to the US, and I just want everybody and anybody that can, come to your readings or your healings to experience it, because it is a wonderful opportunity. So when you do your readings, you do platform. Is that what you do, or you do individual readings, or what?
I do individual sessions, obviously, but I do platform readings as well at events, so. I like kind of being everything. I like being a medium and a healer. I like that combination. And I'm really passionate about the healing stuff. So there's always questions and answers that I ask for questions and answer about my work. But it's very common for people to have a positive health outcome at an event, and it just happens automatically. Like people will come to the events, and they'll experience tingling, warmth, agitation. And they might come with a sore shoulder and they leave pain-free. It just is automatic now. It just comes on. There's been a lot of kind of crazy experiences in the past. Like someone had skin cancer, and they heard I was to be a guest speaker at this location, and she heard my name. Well, in a month, Simon Hayes coming, and when that happened, just energy or force went through her. and she was all like shaken up, and skin cancer dropped off her wrist. So a month later, when I saw her, she showed me, you know, this beautiful old lady. She's so cute, like, and tough. Like, she's like, you know, only about 5 foot tall, and she's pushing all these people out of the road, you know, and she's looking up at me and putting her wrist in my face. See, right there, right there. It's just a funny little story, you know. But these things happen all the time. I get messages about this all the time. I did a workshop on the weekend, and someone left the workshop and stopped beside me and said, you know, this is just amazing, but like, I've had this sore hip and leg for ages, and it's gone. I stood up and I'm pain free. There's just one little kind of tingling sensation that I have, you know. So I mean, I wasn't even focused on it. It just I don't know. Yeah, spiritual. You know?
You're a very pure soul. You just allow. You don't. It seems that you don't need titles. Whatever it is that in a session someone's needing, allow you to be that vessel. I mean, just talking to you, I'm smiling. I love your energy. It's a very beautiful energy. I don't know why I'm smiling. To be honest, I'm not exaggerating. I'm just like.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. And look, I'm really honest too. Like, I'm unsuccessful. Like, I tell people, you know, people come to me for a healing and I don't get it. All right. So I'm really honest about my work. I'm not, you know, I just think I have to be really authentic about that. I think I'm about 60% successful, right? So people will come, they'll either get a partial response or a full response. I may need to see someone 2 or 3 times, but some people will come, nothing. They come 3 or 4 times, and they say, I think something's happening, but it's a really slow motion. We've got to get their attention to it. Right? And with the like cancers are, you know, obviously a big one, but most people who have cancer come to me at the end. They come to me after, you know, 12 months of radiation. Their body's completely depleted. Now, I've had a couple of success stories at that stage, but I have a lot of people I can't help. There's a lot of people that come to me and I can't help. They tell me that I help with pain, that I help with anxiety, and I help with fear, but I can't get it, you know. But look, you know, there's been so many great success stories. Like, it's just it's crazy stuff. It's consistent. It's every week, you know. It's every day something amazing happens.
I love that. So besides the healing sessions, what are the other 2 events you're having in St. Louis?
There's a meet and greet, which is and a dinner. So it's at a restaurant. And so, you know, we're just going to sit down and everyone's going to have a meal together, and then they'll have access to myself and Michelle Buss, who is also a great healer and medium. So she's actually someone that I mentored, you know, prior to this. Like, my guide, you know, asked me to mentor her. So, you know, I spent a lot of time with her, but she's a fantastic healer. So, you know, in that situation, everyone can ask us questions, have access to us. You know, we'll be standing up doing a lecture. It's not really a reading event, but it's more about asking about, you know, what I do. You know, if they have questions, if they're mediums or, you know, healers themselves, they can ask all that. You know, the other one is a mediumship workshop. So I'll be instructing people how to, you know, like how to connect to spirit the way that I've been taught, because I'm spirit trained. You know, I've never actually done a workshop. You know, I've never done anything like that. I'm just trained by spirit.
And that's the best way, Simon.
Yeah,
that's the best way. That's been my big thing this year. Why don't we commune with spirit and get the answers from them if they're the ones we're, you know?
Well, I think that it's funny, especially around the healing stuff. Like, people tell me how to do the healings. I say, well, you just got to do a healing. Don't ask me how to do it. Just like do it. Like, just step up and do it. Because we're complicating this stuff too much, right? So you got to keep it really regular and real. And this is what I try and make this really easy. Like, in a workshop situation, I do a lot of talking and break down people's beliefs, and then go, you know, this is easy. Let's start there. Like, everybody can do this. Let's give this a go and see what happens. And mostly, you know, 9 out of 10 times, people will get it right the first time. I mean, at the last mediumship workshop, a lady who's never done this before just turned up and was giving a reading to this guy, and she hit it from the first name. She just like said, oh, I've got this name, I've got this person, I've got this, I've got that. And the guy's going, yeah, that's exactly right. She's just blown away. Like, and I love that, because, you know, like, you know, all you got to do to harness that is be a friend. You just got to empower her. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? You don't have to teach her. Like, she can access all my experience. And I can say, well, this is what, you know, this is what's happening. This is what I do in a workshop. I tell I just give them everything. I say, well, this is what I do. This is what my guidance is. This is how I do it. Right. So let's see what happens, and don't be me. Like, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you, and it works. It seriously works. Yeah, we get such good feedback at workshops. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I really love that. You got me wanting to take your mediumship quiz because I believe in that. I believe that we should just be kind and remember that they're not just energy. They're, consciousness. They're still memories. They're still emotions, and when we're communing with them, I love the fact that you said that. That really does ring a bell with me.
You can't create separation. I think that you can't worship it either. Like with the healing stuff, so if I throw out Jesus' name, people go, oh my God, that's Jesus. And then do the ascended master thing, and he's amazing. And if I throw it, but he doesn't want to be an ascended master, and he doesn't want to be Jesus. Like, that's his name. He doesn't want to be that. He just wants to be my friend. He just wants to be a regular dude, right? And you can't do that separation thing. Same with spirit as well. You got to treat them like you're in a room full of people, not that you're in a room full of people and you're trying to access spirit.
Exactly.
You're either going to get it or you're not. The funny thing about being a medium, you're either going to get the information or you're not going to get it. So don't put filler in there. You just give what you get, right? And you just keep on talking, but don't fill up the space. And you just trust that process.
You know what? You're so right. And I think that workshops are wonderful. I do them, I teach as well. But I think that the biggest thing for me as a teacher, and what I hear from you, is you're not trying to make them anybody they're not. You're complementing what already exists. What exists in them as a medium, and keeping them as natural and pure as possible. When we start saying, this is how mediumship is, you have to do it this way. That doesn't sit right with me.
I think because what happens is so if someone's a pioneer in their field, like the first medium or the first healer, we'll consider that a pioneer in their field, they're sharing their story and their experience, right? So it's influenced by their personality and their life and that. So what if that's wrong? What if the first guy was wrong and said, this is how we have to do it, right? That's how he did it or she did it. But what if that's wrong? That's not a rule book, right? So we get a whole lot of people tapping into that and start doing that. Now we've created a thread of consciousness. So there's a vibration of someone's teachings that's present. So when you meditate, you connect to that. So you're actually connected to someone else's experience, which is not actually authentic. Right? And I think as a medium, especially if you're going to teach people at a workshop, you have to identify their qualities. You have to say, look, you have to be able to say, I can see what you're doing. I can see the fear, the doubt. Right? Let's talk about that. That's your role, I think, as a teacher. I think you identify things that improve them, as people, and then just step into the mediumship stuff. Right? Okay. There's similarities, of course, but it's not. It's like people. It's not. Everyone communicates differently, so spirit communicates differently because they have personality and emotion. They must. It's just you've got to keep it easy.
And you know what I say, Simon? Absolutely, I agree with that 120%. Is just like on earth here, right? We all have different personalities. When we're dealing with spirit, to say, I'm only going to use my clairvoyance, or that's my loudest clair, or you're saying that you're only going to be used by the souls that have the ability to feel comfortable to give it to you that way, instead of saying, come in as you are, and let me just use all of me so that you can be all of you. I feel like there's different personalities on the other side as well, where, some people say, well, why? Sometimes I feel that spirit comes closer and I can really feel the presence, while other times I feel they're just to the side of me. Well, that just depends on their free will, because they still, in my eyes and my philosophy, have free will on the other side.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just really interesting. My stuff about free will's kind of changed a little bit. I think we have choice, rather than like a free will. I think we have choice. I think our intelligence of our beings, we have a choice. right? And I think people get locked up in that, well, what's my purpose? Or, it's and I think sometimes people use free will as almost an excuse to fail. Like this happened, but I chose that, I have free will to do that. I think you've got to apply yourself, but yeah, look, it's a personality thing. And look, you can have a tough reading. You can only access what you can access, So I found some spirits actually, like they don't want to talk to me. They don't like me. So I got to negotiate that with them. I got to get them on side, even though it seems like you. But surely that makes me an accurate medium. Like if someone's dad didn't trust anybody, and is a really grumpy old bugger, like I'm not going to say, oh, this guy trusts me and he's really calm. That I'm wrong. Like I have to get the grumpy old bugger that doesn't trust me, and they go, oh, that's my dad. And then I get he smells like this and he does this. And he's got this little funny story, and and he swears like this. And then once you then identify that, then he softens. He's not a grumpy old bugger. He kind of softens. It's like the whole room just relaxes, right? Mm-hmm. And because they don't need to maintain that tension in spirit.
Sure.
But they do have to be real when we communicate to them.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we're not good at our jobs.
Right. And then spirit is confident, and they become more confident as you acknowledge that you're confident in them, and you're not trying to make them look like somebody they're not, because that's really what a medium can easily do. Like exactly what you just said. If you have a father that's just like, listen, I'm observing right now. And you're just like, oh, I have this father and he's wonderful. Oh, he comes.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, no, that's not my dad.
Yeah. See, I see a lot of, and it's not, I don't think it's intentional. Like, I don't want to criticize or come across as criticizing other people.
No, we're not. We're honoring spirit. This is the process that we go through as mediums.
Yeah. I think we just have to be really realistic. Like our industry has to be really authentic and real. Right. And I think if you're an evidential medium, then you must get evidence. And I always say to people, if someone gave lousy advice while they're living, they're going to give lousy advice while they're dead, and like people come to me and they might say, and I get someone, they say, I don't want to speak to that bastard. Like, but that's the reason that person's there, because they are so angry. The person and I'm a healer, so I'm going to go straight to where the tough stuff is. Like that person is there because you're angry and you're calling that in, you're holding that. If you want to get to the rest of the family, then deal with the stuff that you're trying to avoid.
Sure. And I think you're so very correct. I think we don't realize sometimes that, obviously being a medium, our own emotions are triggered based on imprints, right? Or memories that the spirit is bringing as well. And so we have to, really work on understanding the difference and really, really honor spirit no matter what.
But I think that a really good example, like I've worked with a lot of people with, really kind of cult-like sexual abuse, like multiple abuses, like very serious stuff. Right, so they come to see me, and of course I'm tapping into that. And it's not like coming to see a counselor where they have to talk about it. I gently, and respectfully go, this happened at 3 years old. This is the location. This happened at 6. This happened at 8. And I kind of ease into it, and then I give them names. And some of those people are in spirit. Right? Now, the second time they come to see me, right? So now I will just kind of get a few of names of the abusers that are in spirit, because my client is healing from the first session. My client is healing. Right? The third time they come and see me, now I'm getting family members in spirit that didn't do any harm. They're getting good stories and good memories, because they are now vibrating that good stories and good memories. Right? Mm-hmm. And then strangely, sometimes some of the abusers who are in spirit will come and actually offer a good story, and they accept it. Right? It's like, it's not even about forgiveness. It just flows easily. Like they just accept it. So you can see how healing the client changes. You're also healing the people in spirit.
Absolutely.
And it changes the flow of information. And I think that's a really good example. I mean, maybe other mediums do, like I think I'm kind of really free flowing where I'm a medium, I'm a psychic, I do the inner voice stuff, I do the spirit guide stuff. It's just kind of all blends. I think like what I would call like kind of old school mediums, which I have a lot of respect for, they're very specific. Like we go to spirit. We only want that spirit. We deal with that. We give evidence, and we go to the next one. They're very they're very good at going just straight to spirit and avoiding the kind of the inner turmoil voice and the emotion. That's the way they've been trained, right? But the way I work, I think, well, I truly believe that the client influences the flow of the reading. And I'm not using that as an excuse if I have a bad day, but I think the client influences the information and the flow to a higher degree than what everyone has ever explained to me.
Absolutely.
Right? So I've never had another medium explain that to me, but I recognize that very clearly in the way that I work, and also because I go back to my people in spirit, like, Get You and my teachers, and they talk and they say, well, this is what's happening. Now, whether that's just the way that I work, maybe someone doesn't have that experience, but I think there's a really big influence there. I think it's a partnership between the medium, the client, and spirit, and it's a three-way conversation.
Absolutely. So anybody that has questions for Simon, I am completely in love with you. I love everything you've said. I mean, I'm like, hallelujah. It's been really big for me this year. Every single thing you said, communing with spirit, sitting with spirit. You have a question, I'm telling my students, go back and sit with them. Yeah. Ask them questions, get to know them, do different things.
Yeah.
So I am so joyed. And I feel so much joy in reference to everything that you've said. I think this is definitely something so very beautiful to keep it pure and keep it as it is. So we had one question here. It says, what's a question for spirit when you feel they aren't giving you much for the sitter? So
that's it. Well, okay, so my experience of that is there must be something else going on, right? So there's a few factors to that. The one who wants a reading is probably, expecting a certain response. They want to connect to a certain spirit and they're looking for something, right? You have the personality of the spirit. Maybe they don't talk. Maybe they're really quiet, right? So an evidential medium will say,
yeah,
like you might even not get it. Well, I'm on your father's side. I think this is your father, but he's not talking, right? And then they say, well, my dad never talked. Okay, right. So if he never talked, like if he never talked to you and had a relationship with you, that's difficult. Now, of course, the one who wants a reading wants information, right? They want information. Probably not going to get it from him, right? But you can kind of, I tend to go, well, give me something else, right? So I'm the type of guy that will get a lot of names but I might not know that these. I will say to people, if I give you names, think of people who are living or people who are gone. Because they're either telling me names to identify them in their family, or they're telling me their name, right? So I just relax about that. I just tell my people what I'm doing, so they know. Right, so I'll say, John, William, Joe, Mary, Pat. This is Pat. Pat's the one who's gone. We get there, right? So the client goes, oh yeah, John's my brother, Joe's my dad. And we get there, right? Right. Now Pat doesn't talk, so I say, well, I need something else, right? I need something from you. I need something. I'm talking to spirit collectively, right? And then they go, oh yeah. So Mary's Pat's sister. Mary's the one in Chatterbox. She's a Chatterbox. Right? So then we bring Mary forward, and Mary will say, I don't know, some little story. She made the apple pies, or, she did this, or she cut heads off chickens or something, and they go, yep, that's Mary. And now it's a family thing. So now Pat you can draw Pat into the conversation, right? But she still might not say what she wants to say because the person who's asking for the reading is expecting something. You got to switch off their expectation. Like the person might want a certain message, and the message was never there. Like it was never there in the first place. But I would just say, just ask.
Absolutely.
You just have to ask. Give me more, and move and trust yourself that you're moving in the right direction. And
you hit it on the head. If that individual we talked about it, personality, if it wasn't in their personality to be a talker, then expanding and saying, all right, give me more. Well, I'm not a talker, but here's my sister. She's here. So just trusting, giving it exactly how you're getting it, and acknowledging the personality. Because Simon, I don't think sometimes they acknowledge the personality. Like, let's say there's a soul that's standing there. The medium's just like, okay, because they're learning, they're developing, right? This is what happens in development, probably very early development. Okay, I'm waiting. But what they should be paying attention to is, how is that person standing? What are they doing? Even if they're not talking, what are they giving you? Because exactly what they're giving you is their personality.
Okay. And this is the reason they miss that too, is because they don't have self-awareness. Right? So I tell everybody that no matter what workshop I'm doing, you have to understand your politics. What does your body language mean to you? What does, when you touch the side of your face, what's that? Like, what are you thinking? Like silly things, like, the I love yous that we might give, but we don't really, it's almost automatic. But we might say I love you to someone, but what we're really saying is, yeah, I'm just going to go and have a shower. I'm just walking past you. I'm just busy. Right? You have to understand everything about yourself. Like, what causes you to, be angry? Like, what triggers that? Right? Because once you know that, and once you're aware of that, then you can tap into spirits. That's the language that they'll know. Right? And you go, oh, hang on, what's he making me feel? Like, he's not talking, but what's he making me feel? What does that mean for me? Right? But then, of course, if I guess for a female medium, if she's reading the male, if she has trouble with violence or something in the past, and the person she's speaking to is an alcoholic or a drunken spirit, she'll probably be a bit reactive, because she's had that experience in the past, right? And so, and with a man, it would be, like a father figure. If a man was, maybe beaten as a kid, or had some abuse, and then you get that in spirit, then the man's going to be a bit nervous, and insecure.
Absolutely.
Right? But we have to know our stuff. Like what is it that, because that's all communication, everything. Like the way they stand, the way they move, what you feel, what you smell, it's all communication.
It's so interesting. You're so right. And like you said, sometimes for some mediums, if there's unresolved emotions, like let's say abuse, and someone's coming in with that, the medium might shut down that emotion and not even know. So what you're saying, it is so very important. And that I do something called the frequency healing, and I have them sit and think of the word shame, think of the word grief. What does it bring to you? And then actually once we go through all the emotions, have someone come in from the spirit world and bring in that particular situation to see how they react to it. It's so important. You're so right. And I love the way you put that together. Know you, and you'll know what they're giving you a little bit more.
I think it's the first step. I tell everybody, this is the first step. Because everything that you experience with spirit initially is a conversation with you. Everything that I experienced with spirit out of my body, those first 12 months of meditations, no matter what I thought I was looking at, battlefields, ancient stuff, cultures, that's me. It's speaking to me. It's not what you think. Like some people will meditate and see a pyramid. Oh, I was Egyptian. In the past life, I was an Egyptian, And we always want to be a god or a goddess. We don't want to be a slave or someone just ordinary. Like, you know what I mean? Like it may not be that. Like you just saw a pyramid. Like, stop it. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe you have a pyramid at home. Maybe you went past the shop and there's a pyramid in it, and boom, it's in your vision now. Like you got to. The only way you'll know to unravel that is to be in tune with you first, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach you about you.
That's so true. I love that. We had another question, which is, what's the best way to raise your vibration to keep a solid link with spirit? What is a quick advice you can give someone?
You just got to, you just got to back yourself and be confident. Seriously, that's all. Like, I know people will say there must be some trick to that. Like, but that's based on your belief systems or your subconscious fear, right? Like, you know what I mean? There must be some trick to that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people say, I've heard this. If you're a vegetarian, you have a higher vibration. Well, probably not. You're just a vegetarian. Like, you know what I mean? So does that mean I can't do a reading if I've had a T-bone steak and 6 beers?
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of funny the language you use. I mean, I get if you want to be a vegetarian because it's for your health, but don't say, to be a medium I have to be a vegetarian because it's going to raise my, be a vegetarian to be healthy. Right? It's not going to improve your mediumship. What's going to improve your mediumship is to back yourself and just keep pushing into it. You know, that's what's going to increase your vibration. The more you do this, the more you exercise this, right? And just be fearless, and don't be afraid of being wrong. Like don't be afraid
Yes.
of being wrong. It's okay.
Honor spirit. Yes. Say it again, Simon. Preach it, Simon. Preach it.
I've been wrong plenty of times, but you know, just the way I deliver it, I say, look, you know, like, okay, this, you know, you just have to know your craft and tell your audience what your craft is. All right? Don't be afraid of being wrong. Like you move very quickly. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening, and you move very quickly. All right? And you can be wrong. Like I've actually got something from Spirit that tells me when I'm wrong. I've asked them. I've said, well, when I'm wrong, I need to know. They just shut me down. Like they almost choke me. All right? But I'm brave enough to say, hang on, I've just made a mistake. I just retreat, like something's happened here.
Sure.
But I've asked for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, the vibration stuff. Like don't sweat that stuff. Like seriously, just be healthy and get some sleep and eat well and exercise. You're good.
And just trust the process that you're in. It's so funny because I'm so excited that I did this interview because my student says he's the male version of you, LIllian. Everything that you're saying, it's like what I believe in. Obviously you're you and I'm me, but we complement each other so very well. It's such an honor. Yeah. I would really love to get you. Go ahead, Simon.
Here's the thing about the vibration stuff. Why people ask, I understand it. Like I've seen other mediums saying, well, we've got to lift our vibration. Spirit's got to lower theirs, so we're dense, they're not. Like get rid of that belief system. They have a different vibration, because if you say they're higher, by default you're saying you're lower, right? If you're acknowledging that they're higher, then you're reducing your power. Well, I must be lower. I have to work now. I have to do something to get it.
And then you're putting that in your mind.
Yeah, just stop it. Like, because it'll be what it is. You know, it's that like. That whatever this is, like collectively, this healing vibration, spirit, you know, I don't know, God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it's smarter than that. Mm-hmm. Like surely, like we all say it's smarter than that. So, but it's got more intelligence than that. You know, they don't want, and spirit doesn't want to be elevated above us, like angels, guides, whatever your belief is around that. They don't want to be elevated above us. They want to be beside us.
I love that. Do you ever do workshops online at all?
Not yet, but a lot of people are asking.
Well, I would love to be the first to bring you to my platform for a workshop. When you are ready, you contact me. I will get you the people. I adore you. I love everything about you. Everything you just said. You are authentic. You are a natural medium. And I really love the fact that you are talking about the spirit world as if they are your friends, they're people, and you're keeping it as pure as possible. We make this thing called mediumship so very difficult, Simon, and we really, it's not because we want to, obviously. We are learning to rethink. As a medium, we have to think with our mediumship mind, not our human mind. And you're a wonderful complement to that.
Yeah, I think
you're bringing mediumship.
I mean, you know, everybody's getting a mini workshop now. It's like I answer questions everywhere I go, like at every event. Like I because one of the things that happened to me, I had all these crazy things happen, and I went to people, lots of people, like, you know, 100 plus, lots of people, who tell me they've been mediums for 10, 20, 30 years, and I say, well, this is what's happening. Like, can you? And they say, well, no, that can't be happening because I'm not qualified, because I'm not. You know, because I'm a beginner, because I said, well, it's too late. This is happening. Can you help me with this? So that either shut me down and say it can't happen, or they wouldn't answer my question. And I said, well, I don't want to be that guy. Like, if someone asks me a question, I'll either answer it or I'll say, I don't know. You know? And normally I'll say, I don't know, but I'll tell you a story. It's just like, how are we? Like, you got to answer people's questions, like, you know. And if I'm wrong, at least I'm wrong in a polite way. You know, at least we're having fun. You know.
Be humble and kind. Exactly. Whether it is that we're having a conversation with people here on earth, or we're having a conversation with the spirit world, let us be humble. Let us be kind. Let us heal both worlds. It is amazing. What are the dates for your St. Louis event?
Oh, 24th 26th and 27th, I think. But that information is on my website or the Simon Hay US Tour page. I have two business pages. You'll find, but if you go to the Simon Hay US Tour page, you'll find the dates in there and the events and that. All the information's there.
All of the events, because this group here is all around the world. So I'm going to post the link to Simon's tour. So anybody that is in any state that he will be in, if you resonate with this beautiful soul, come out and come see him. Again, feel it in your bones that this is someone you want to work with. As you can see, he's very authentic. And I shared the flyers for his St. Louis event as well. I definitely want to get you to Chicago. Maybe next year we can have you in Chicago. And I would also love to host you online. I have a platform online that loves to learn. They're ready to learn. And they're already saying, I'll be there on the chat. So
that's all. Yeah, let me get home after this tour and settle, and we'll try and fit something in. You know?
I'm excited, Simon. It's been a pleasure. And also, I have an Australia group with a lot of people from Australia. I would love to also, make you admin perhaps, and you can put your stuff in there as well. That would be, I'm just so excited that we connected, and I really feel good about moving forward. Thank you so much for bringing your light today. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been great. I'm so grateful for this. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy. I wish I would have known. Honestly, I would have went to St. Louis, but I guarantee you we're going to catch up, not only online. I'm going to have you in Chicago. You're going to teach a workshop. You're going to do healings. So maybe we can make it a 2-day thing here in Chicago. And I guarantee you that it will be full and sold out. We will welcome you with open arms. Thank you so much, Simon.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Bye, everybody. Bye.